Welcome to Loving Yourself. Now, a lot of things have been happening in our society lately, and it's very, very sad things. In line with Mental Health Awareness Month, I know we're coming to an end. We really needed to speak about this one because I think it affected all of us. The very, very tragic case of a very young soul, I would like to say, a student who lost her life in school, which was very, very sadly live streamed. And I mean, that affects not just her family, her friends couldn't rush to her aid. It's just traumatizing things like this. And this is not the only thing that happened. It happens all the time. We have school shootings, kids, well, mainly in America because we cannot carry gunfire here. We have so many suicide cases, killing cases, bully cases, children in just so much pain. That's what we're talking about today with Sudha Kudva. Sudha Kudva, author, counselor, so many things, expert in relationships, connection. You have to Google Sudha and then you'll find the full story because I'll need an hour to introduce her.
Please, now I'm going to...
No, but Sudha, I cannot find anybody more qualified to talk about this. So let's start with what happened at home a few weeks ago, almost a month ago, the tragic case of the child who fell to her death at school. And not just that, live streamed it. This is wow.
Can I share something?
Sure.
Before we see this child, we want to understand that every parent, you're a parent, I'm a parent, and any listener who's a parent, we are doing our very best with best intentions.
Yes.
We never, ever, ever mean to hurt or harm a child. And yes, when we haven't understood connection in its depth and this body's inherent programming for connection, much harm happens, much hurt happens, much pain happens. But pain isn't recognized as pain, because we don't know what pain is. We've separated emotional pain different from physical pain. And our society has given so little space or so little value for emotional pain or emotional growth. Emotional, if you're good to suck it up, then you're a good, strong person and valuable member of society. Emotional pain goes not understood, it's under the carpets. And what people don't know, and I'm going to ask you something, do you know this, okay?
No.
Serena?
What do I know? What do I not know? What?
The pain center in the brain is the same for emotional pain or physical pain.
Oh, no, I did not know that.
Yeah, most people aren't aware of this. So apparently taking a Panadol after a breakup helps.
What?
Yes, because that's emotional pain.
Taking Panadol for emotional pain. Now, that's a first. Okay.
Yeah, after a breakup helps.
Okay.
They found that. But you can't keep taking Panadol all the time.
You know, your liver will die.
The body is so non-judgmental. Pain is pain, be it physical or emotional. So when we haven't understood emotional pain in the context of relationships, much pain goes unrecognized. And when we are a little child, the way they speak pain, we don't understand, we don't recognize. When we see little Johnny, a 4 to 5, 6-year-old, having a major meltdown or tantrum, he looks like a little nightmare to us. And how the hell are we going to cope with these behaviors now? But what he's actually expressing is not disrespect for us because he didn't want to drink that milk or not have his bath or whatever. He's expressing deep pain, a deep protest against the loss of connectedness with us.
Right.
And loss of connectedness with himself, because he can't connect with himself.
Right.
Because he's that small, fragile. He needs us to connect with himself.
He needs our help to connect the dots too.
Exactly, that's why. But we don't recognize that. And we say, little Johnny, go to your room and come back when you can behave yourself.
Yeah, you know, in year 2024, even the silliest, not silliest, the most inexperienced parents would know that sending your kid to a quiet corner does not work.
Thank God they know that
Yes,
much.
well, I hope so.
Yeah,
you know,
thank God they know that.
Yes.
Do you know that even if the child was speaking to you and the mom decides, I don't whack my child, I don't send my child to the corner, I just won't talk to my child. And then I want ice cream, I want this, or I want to go that, I want iPad, I want this, I want that. Kids go on and on and on. And the parent goes silent.
Yes.
Many are not aware that silence may be more damaging for the child than violence.
Silence is more damaging than violence. Remember that.
Yeah, because why? Violence means I got hit, I exist for you, I exist for you in
Right.
some form or the other.
Right.
Silence means I don't even exist for you. That means I don't matter to you. And the child, because it has a rudimentary developing, I call it Tiga Suku brain, that's not yet fully there. It comes to now believe, I don't matter. Such a distorted conclusion.
Right.
But it's real for that little thing, and the pain is excruciating. And how do I know this? And how dare I talk this on a podcast? I stand very tall on the shoulders of all those persons who have worked with me, trusted me over the years, 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, whatever. And they've come to the other side. And of shifting intergenerational patterns of all this.
Yes.
Yeah, and that it's excruciating, painful memories we are working through. So guys, please, if one request not to offer that silent treatment to kids. If it's too overwhelming, it's okay to tell that child, darling, I want to hear you and I'm overwhelmed. Let's connect in an hour. That form of an authentic connectedness this human body can receive and take. Just do not unconnect without a connecting statement.
So basically, what I get from this is if that child is connected at home, all these things outside may not happen. If you have a strong connection at home and you feel secure,
If we
then
understand what connection is.
and you understand what connection is, because a lot of things that
Yeah.
lead to children committing such tragic ends is because they have no connection at home, and add on top of that peer pressure and school pressure.
But coming back to home,
Yes.
to be fair, parents are doing their best to connect and
Correct.
give the best to kids, but they haven't understood this concept of emotional growth or emotional pain. That emotional capacity to be in pain doesn't drop from heaven and grow with age. It grows only through healthy connectedness of hearing their pain.
So,
or unconnecting with connection.
Okay, expand on that.
I just said that a little earlier. I'm going to expand on it.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Reality check. Okay. Parents coming back from work. Parents stressed. Parent cannot connect. Parent don't have the capacity to connect, which is reality, isn't it? A lot of kids, especially teens, shut down.
Yes.
And they go to social media and they go to their friends who some may not be good friends. So how do we go about this?
So what is the opposite of connection? I'm asking
Unconnect.
you.
Yeah, that's what disconnect, unconnect.
So if it's disconnection, when I'm disconnected, what's the experience inside? It's isolation. So the opposite of connection is isolation. And feeling that isolation, we are not built for that. We are not programmed for that. It's an experience of emptiness, hollowness, heaviness at the same time.
Yes.
It's a mind confusing, it's a yucky experience. And in that isolation, to relieve themselves of that pressure, of that yucky experience, scrolling happens as a distraction from that. Going on YouTube, going on the internet, anything but this.
Yes.
And then, but that won't go away. And finally it overtakes and overpowers. And as I say, if I can say this, and it can be edited if need be, then shit hits the fan.
Oh, it's okay. It's a podcast. You can say whatever you want.
That's what happened.
Yes.
Painful
what I get from that is, there's a lot of brewing, and you cannot prevent that because not every parent can sit there and connect. So there's no easy way to go
There's
about
no
it.
easy way. I
You
wish
have to
there
do the work.
was. Yes, thank you. I wish there was an easy shortcut way.
But
There
what are
isn't.
the symptoms or alarming triggers that you need to watch out for that your kid may be calling out for help?
Yeah. Thanks for asking that question. The naughty kids, the rebellious kids, the troublesome kids in inverted commas, parents seek help for them anyway.
Yes.
Yeah, we get calls in ABRI regularly for that. The kids that fall through the gaps are the gooder than good kids, the better than best kids. My
Yes.
heart goes out for these kids.
Yes.
They're polishing perfection.
Yes.
They don't know how to reach out for help. They're lost to themselves. We can't, the society can't see them crying for help.
How do you see it though? Like when a kid
When
ticks every box, I'm good,
yes,
I listen.
that's when parents need to start getting worried, really get worried. Hey, how is this kid ticking every box? Does she have space for her own ideas? Or is she mimicking our ideas and knows what we want and meeting our needs?
Yes, yes.
That means the kid's autonomy is lost to the kid. That means the kid is very trapped within. Shut down, collapse, comply, shut down, collapse, comply, and following us.
So alarm is shut down, collapse,
Comply.
comply. If your kid is too compliant and just too
Yes.
good, that is also a red flag, a reason to seek out counselors like ABRI Health or speak to someone.
Thank
ABRI
you.
Health, I'll put the link underneath. ABRI Health does counseling, or whatever red flags you may have, speak to a counselor. That's one.
Yes.
The other one are the ones that are naughty or acting
That
out.
help is always sought.
Yes, that one, yes. I mean,
Yeah.
so there's the outward and there's the inward. The inward one
Yes.
may sometimes be more dangerous.
It
Like you
is.
see in America, it's the ones that are
Yes,
good, the nerds,
exactly.
the bullied that go out there and take a gun. Lucky we don't have guns in Malaysia.
Yes.
So things like this. Okay, she already wrote this book. It's going to be out. What date do we know?
Shortly.
Shortly, okay. So no child lies. Okay, this I find is one of the most difficult things to tackle in my home, especially. I have 2 young kids, right?
Yeah.
When a kid is lying, the toughest part for a
Yes.
parent to do is, what do you reply with? Because whatever you reply with, they're gonna shut down further and they're gonna lie
Yes.
further. If you call them out, they'll be like, oh no. Now I gotta figure out a better way to lie, or
Yes. So we don't, there's a way, we don't want to call them out,
Yeah.
but we do want to call them out.
Correct.
So
So,
how
it's
do
a
we-
very tricky situation.
So how do we do that is we call them out with compassion. Just say, hey, darling, you said the cookies, you didn't touch the cookies. I see all cookie stains around your mouth.
Yeah.
The cookies were eaten. And it's difficult for you to share that with me. Yeah, what about me is so scary for you? Start from there. I want feedback about me. What about me that makes it so scary for the truth to come out from you?
Or how about, when they're slightly older and they start lying about going out, boyfriends and things.
Then we say, yes, I sense you have a boyfriend, darling, and it's difficult for you to share that with me because you think you're going to hear judgment from me, or I'm going to ask you to stop that relationship.
Yeah.
It is difficult for you to talk to me. Yeah, how else can I be more approachable? How else can I be friendly? I really want that relationship with you.
You see, she touched on a very raw nerve there, because a lot of our traditional parenting is, I am authority, you listen to me. You're not
Yes.
supposed to
Top
go
down,
and
yeah.
So
I
now,
know better for you.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I know better. I've been there.
Yes.
And we are all guilty. I say this all the time.
Yes.
I've been here like 30 over years.
Yes.
40 plus. You've been here 10. I am
Exactly.
so guilty. So we are the ones who need to step back and say, look,
Yes.
all right, your kid needs to respect you the way you expect them to respect.
Yes.
You know?
I need to respect them for me to get respect.
Correct. And I think, thankfully, our society is moving more towards that. Parents are listening now more to
Yes,
children.
exactly.
And parents are listening more to their triggers.
Because this is
as
what
well.
I always say, Serena. Shit happens, mistakes happen. So if that girl is my daughter, and if she had a boyfriend, and if pregnancy happened, I'd like her to reach out to me first rather than go to a quack and who does something.
You mean you're the quack?
Isn't it?
Yes, no, me
Yeah.
too.
Yeah,
That's my
we'd
biggest
all
fear.
want that for our
Yeah.
kid.
Yeah.
Because I hear so many painful stories that I
Yes.
can't,
Because they just feel like they cannot speak to the parents. Because of
Yes.
course, if I'm pregnant, the last person I want to tell is
Yeah.
my mother.
Yes.
But in
And
order to bridge the gap, the
Yes.
connection between the mother and the child is
Yes.
so important, right?
Yes, or the parent, or the
Yeah.
granny, or whoever are the caregivers, that connection is so important. I worked a lot with sexual abuse. Can I share that? And childhood
course.
sexual abuse.
Of course.
The most common line I've heard from little kids at all ages, and that's what gets my gut. And that's
Yeah.
what keeps me writing more books.
Yeah.
That kid says, "How could I tell my mother? I'll make her cry.
Oh.
How could I hurt my mother? How could I tell it? Then my father will scold my mother father will fight." So what the child says is basically telling us that parent is unapproachable.
No,
The
but they
parent gets
also-
overwhelmed by what they
yes.
hear, that they're not able to be in the overwhelming experience of that child.
But there's also the pleasing part.
Yes.
They want to be pleasing their parents
Oh,
and not
that's
be the
tough.
troublemaker,
Yes,
isn't it?
exactly.
It's also very
Yeah.
ingrained in our Asian
Yeah.
community. You don't want to troublemaker, therefore you don't want to say that my uncle touched me.
Yes. Oh, I work with 20s and 30s and 40-year-olds. And when I see the symptoms, because with this level of experience, hey, the symptoms doesn't match the story you've shared with me. Has sexual abuse happened? And I say, how do you know? I haven't told anybody.
But that is
And they
so
suffered in
difficult.
silence for so long. It's so unfair. It's unfair.
Correct. Sexual abuse victims are the
Yeah.
the most
So-
silent ones.
And they are the gooder than good kids too sometimes. Yeah.
Yes, and like and this is gonna be horrible. Like when it comes to incest, like your mother will not believe you that your father
Yeah.
touched you,
Yes.
right? So how?
Yes,
Okay.
and that's why our society needs to be more trauma-informed, trauma-friendly, pain-friendly. Only then there is a space for people to talk on this. Yeah, you're talking of something that's very close to my heart. I can go on and on.
Close to all our hearts. I mean, sexual
Yeah.
abuse. I have a daughter. You know
Yes.
that's the worst, daughter or son. I mean, it
Yeah,
happens to
exactly.
both. Okay, so when it comes to sexual abuse, I know nobody wants to hear this. What
Yeah.
are the signs to watch out for in a child? Like acting out again,
Yeah,
right?
when kid is acting up, the kid's behaviors have changed from the norm, more quieter than before or more outward than before. Something's happened, something's happening. And the kid isn't finding me approachable enough to open up to me. Because that the kids tell me, I want to talk, but when I go close to that adult, it's like shutdown happens.
Correct.
And my mouth won't let me speak it up. And so it's that nervous system thing. Our nervous system is built for connection. It's a whole, I do 2-3 day workshops on all this. And so when we are approachable and the child sees us as not going to go into a tizzy or not going to go into judgment, that nervous system can open up and the words come out from the kid.
All right. Oftentimes, your parents are not the first one you want to go to because obviously, if something happened to you,
That's
I don't know.
okay.
It's
The
hardest to
child-
speak to your parents. So who would you direct them to?
There's enough helplines available. And Serena, you'll share all the helplines later.
Oh, yes. I've actually asked Sudha for all the important helplines. If you feel helpless and you cannot speak to someone around
you.
you, please look at the contents
Helplines.
and you
Yeah.
will see all the helplines. Actually, a lot of people don't know that there are a lot of helplines to
Yes.
help,
Yeah.
and people will not judge. So if you don't feel like you can speak to your parents, look for the helplines at the end of the episode. So, all right, of course, societal pressure, we've gone through that, right?
Yes.
If you are not strongly connected at home, then society will affect you a lot easier. So make sure that you have that foundation at home. That is on the parents' onus. You really need to connect
Emotionally
with your child.
connected.
Emotionally connect, because once they pass puberty, it's going to be even harder to connect,
Yes,
isn't it?
exactly.
How about technology? This is the big one. Technology. How do we not control, work with technology? You cannot escape technology.
Yes.
Work with this, the exposure, the YouTube. There's so much
Yes.
sexual content. There's so much things.
Yes.
That's why, you know.
It's so normalized
And
in
live
society.
streaming your suicide.
Yes.
Oh, come on, you know.
Yeah.
How do we do this, do you think?
Yeah. Parents put in parental controls.
Yes.
And I hear from children how they know how to go about the parental
Correct. There's
controls.
always sneaky ways to go around the parental
Yes.
controls. Forget about that one.
Yes.
Again, it's connection, right?
Yep,
But when it
exactly.
comes to technology, we are all so attached to
Yes.
that device.
Because when that isolation is eating into me,
Yeah.
and I don't recognize the depth and the intensity of it,
Yeah.
any form of connection is better than no connection.
Yes.
Any form of connection, connection to technology, connection to virtual media, connection to virtual people.
Yeah.
When I'm hungry, breadcrumbs substitute when there's no bread. Yeah.
Oh, that is deep.
That's what.
That's
yeah,
right.
That's what. Then we become technology addicts.
Yeah.
And as I worked with children, heard their pain, or teens,
Yeah.
we sit through with the pain, sit through with the pain.
Yeah.
Then the fingers that need to go down that path become less and
And
less.
they don't realize these are not real connections. You're not connected.
Exactly.
So social media does not depict the real you, and
Yes.
whatever connection you're having with your audience.
Yeah. And
may not be
anyone
as
that
real.
anyone that much on social media and clinging to virtual connection, we know it's lacking inside. It's
That
such a
is a very
simple, that's
strong
such a big red flag.
Yes.
And people come in and asking that to us sometimes at ABRI. Hey, why am I so addicted to the social media? I want a break and I can't seem to get a break.
Affirmations. They find affirmation through, like, you know, people who are addicted to, I mean, I think, people who comment. If you don't comment on my post, that means, you know,
Yes.
I'm not getting that affirmation.
So if I'm not getting that affirmation, what does it say about me?
Correct.
I'm not.
I'm not enough.
Thank you.
See,
It goes
how
down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, you judge yourself
Yeah.
through technology.
Yes.
So how do parents disconnect children from technology is a very difficult
We
thing.
can't disconnect them from that because there's so many sneaky ways of getting into it. When we've offered them enough healthy connectedness and they're puas-hati from inside, that need to constantly check Instagram or Twitter or wherever they've posted stuff, it just becomes less and less. And I see that. I stand tall on the shoulders of who I work with.
Yes.
That gives me the guts to speak up here, yeah, guys?
Connection first, and then they will put away the phones. You know, I have to thank my husband for this. You know, he's from France. You know, in France, in Europe, they place so much importance on outdoor as well.
Yes.
I realize as soon as we go outdoors, we go camping, we do something together.
Yes.
Immediately, my children are connected to us.
Yeah.
They don't even ask for the device.
Yes.
So
Exactly.
I know in Malaysia and Asia, we like to stay indoors and all that, but perhaps this is, you know, a way that you can try, you know.
At home, we have lots of board games. Play board games with them.
Again, try to convince them to do the board game against the device. It's going to be hard. But I
Oh, no.
realize
I know families that do the board games. Oh, it does work.
some of them, you know.
But the parents have to be interested enough and genuinely connect with the board game.
Correct, because we are guilty as well. Come
Thank
on, I do this. I have to ask my husband to put down his phone all the time. I'm a little more aware because I do this podcast, and I'm also the mother.
Yep.
So, but yes, I mean, it starts with us.
Yes, it starts with us. It all
yes.
starts with us.
So hopefully that helps with, I don't know. I mean, if the parents pay more attention, hopefully that helps with the security and the connectedness of your child to you, and maybe lessen all these tragic things happening at
and the
school.
belief what the child has about itself. Oh, I matter.
Yes.
I'm enough.
Yes.
I'm worthy being spoken to.
If you feel enough, then all these things will not happen outside because you'll be secure enough. Now, there's one thing that Sudha does that I really want to say before we leave because, you know, she specializes in play therapy.
Yeah.
Now, play therapy is not just play. Please do explain to us, how does play therapy address the pain issue?
Okay. Play is a state within us, just like anxiety is a nervous state within us.
Right.
Play is a state within us when, this is a bit of technical terms, when the ventral vagus nerve and the sympathetic nervous system is working together. Right. It's a real thing happening within. And when ventral vagus nerve is happening within, safe is experienced within us.
Right.
And so when anxiety and safe together is functioning, It's called play. We are mobilized.
Anxiety.
But we are feeling safe. It's like the person who's on the football field.
Right.
He's filled with anxiety, that nervous energy, but he's also excited. He feels safe because we have a referee, we have this person here, that person there. So no one's going to kill him. And if there's a mistake, the persons will point out and give him the goal if it's his due.
Right.
So he feels safe.
Okay, so give me an example of play therapy when you
in
have
play therapy,
someone
when we
coming in.
have a client who's very, very, I mean, the inside state is a mess, yeah,
Right.
anxious and or shut down, collapse, comply. Inside state is freeze or whatever, all these technical terms. The job of a therapist is to create emotional safety, approachable, really create it in its nuances. We can't say no, we can't say don't, we can't label the things as it is, because it can be anything in the child's world.
Right.
And the child may pick up this and move this like this. It might be an aeroplane, it might be something else. It's not a book in his mind. So we can't label anything.
Right.
So we are watching and creating safe so that the child feels safe with us, and what's from within will be coming out. Using the items in the room.
So you have items, not necessarily toys.
Oh, we have a whole bunch of toys,
and,
figurines.
and you watch how they play.
I've got tons of figurines, 100,
Right.
200 figurines in the room.
I see.
My personal collection is crazy.
Can you show us some of the play?
No, this is ridiculous stuff.
That's not ridiculous. This is a person.
No, but we've got other stuff. We've
more
got stuff
person.
like this.
Right, more person. Okay.
We might have stuff like this.
What's that? Okay, that's a sneaky snake coming out of the box.
Yep.
Okay, so you
We
place
have
things.
stuff like this. We've got tons of stuff.
You place things around, and you
And the kid,
you watch how they play.
in
or?
that atmosphere, they're not playing, in that atmosphere of
I'm
play,
playing.
in that atmosphere of safe. Whatever is within rises to the surface, and they take items from the room and create their inner world on the sand, or with art, or with clay, or with something. And it's our job as a therapist to see where they are and understand their inner world and support them, accept their inner world, meet them where they are.
Okay.
And then,
But that's a lot of deciphering.
oh yes,
Wow.
there's no interpreting. It's a lot of question mark, it's this, it's that, it can be this.
You watch how they play.
How they play, how they play, how they play, and meet their needs where they are. So
see.
they feel what couldn't be witnessed by their parents or in the family they come from. And that's pain within, that pain rises to the surface. And they feel, I matter, I matter.
So is it when they cannot verbalize something
Yes.
that you resort to play therapy?
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
Exactly.
She has clients, not clients, persons as
Yeah.
young as 3 years old.
Yes.
And well, I guess that's when play therapy comes into play, because they don't have words, do they?
Yes, even 6 years old, it's up to,
Yeah.
after puberty, we call it creative therapy. I work with adults too, and the adults use the same items and help them understand themselves, what they didn't even know was happening within them. Yeah,
Wow, that's crazy.
it's a very satisfying.
Yes, you are one of the only people, when I was stalking people, to specialize in play therapy, and she does it so well. You have to look her up. Sudha Kudva, not just an author. You have 3 here now.
It's just a passion. When you hear children's pain so much, I have to give back to them, yeah? And that's why I write these books, to give back to little ones.
I've never seen someone with such a clear vocation. You know, her life's mission is to do this, to work you through your pain, whether you're a child or a parent or yourself. And thank you so much for being here.
Thank
Do you want to add something before we finish this episode?
I want to say thanks to my husband, who's unconditionally supported me through all my craziness these years.
But she's not crazy. Look at her. She's the most clear-minded person ever. But yes, it is a very intense journey, and I'm sure your husband. I mean, do you unload to your husband every night before you go to bed? Because there's a lot to unload.
No, I don't have to. If I need to, then just hear me out, and that's it. No comments.
I've never seen someone so zen after unload. I mean, people unload onto you. You don't
No,
feel
they're not
that.
unloading on me. Never.
Okay. So
I meet
what do
them
you
in
call
that
it when they come to
space.
you?
I meet them in that space of
Okay.
pain. It's not unloading on me.
It's the way,
Ever.
it's the way she looks at it as well. So
Yes.
I mean, you've got the right person for the job when
Thank you.
she takes it as not a job. It is not a
It's
job
not
at
a
all.
job.
It's a mission, and you're
Yeah.
doing a fantastic job. Thank you so much for tackling such a very difficult, topic today as well.
Thank you for having me here,
No, thank
Serena. It's
you.
something close to my heart, and it means a lot that you could invite me and I could share this with the world.
You
yeah?
mean I stalked you? And no, it's something that is so disturbing. And I hope, like, if you're listening right now, and if you're a parent, and then if you're a child, know that you can connect with your family, and
And there is help. If you didn't know, I too didn't know once. We can learn. Yeah.
in Malaysia, there's more hope than you think. Look out for
Yes.
all the helpline links and all the
Yeah.
trauma association links as
Yeah.
well. Get yourself involved, and you never know, you could help someone else too, right? Thank you for joining us today
Thank you. Thank
on
you.
Loving Yourself.
Thank you.